Hi, hello, happy Sabbath, and Shabbat Shalom. And this is the week of Days of Unleavened Bread, and we are in between. We are on the Sabbath in the middle of the Days of Unleavened Bread. So, tomorrow is the Wave Sheaf Day, and from there, Monday is the last day of Unleavened Bread for the festival. Alright, so that right there is another avocado coming back from the root of the ones that we had from, sprouting last year. Some of these, like I said, I don't give up on these very easy because they're pretty tough plants, especially these with the fact that they've still got those that have their seed, and the seed can last 2-3 years. I mean, the little pile of seed right there, that right there is seed, and it's still got energy in it. It looks like crap, but the plant, and then, same with that one down there, they're still pulling food value out of that. So they're in, good standing to fight this freeze off. Right, this one still hasn't sprouted yet. That one, although it had technically sprouted, the stem is dead. I hope it doesn't mean it's dead. Right, this is recovered, and I believe, I was thinking that we had another one recovered. I'm sure I saw one. I don't see one down here. Where did I see the fifth one? I thought I saw 4 before, and then today being the 5th, but I could be wrong. Maybe I only saw 3 before, and now I'm up to 4. Anyhow, we have verified right now 4 recovering. These 2 over here, well, they're looking pretty rough at the moment. I'm still very hopeful that they will come back one more time, although it's looking pretty bad. My onion seedlings, they're getting pretty gangly. They're about 2.5 feet long. I need to pot them and put them outside somewhere. Of course, my, now I want to call them asparagus. Spider plants are all coming back. So, they need to be repotted too. These 2 here are doing fine. Of course, naturally the grapefruit, which you got teeny tiny little burn frizzles on it, freeze frizzles on it, are doing fine now. Unfortunately, only one of them's potted and the other one's not, so it's kind of, the other ones are not. I need to repot them. Of course, this thing, naturally, it's going from 5s to 10s to 50s to 100s. Needs to be repotted. And of course, my spindly pear is becoming 3 or 4 plants now as it puts on roots that can be trans-rooted. I think there's a seed in here. No? Huh. Not really. Should be. Is there a seed in there? No. It's empty. Alright, well, I'll just have to put avocado seeds in there or something. I haven't seen any attempted recovery from that cactus, but it hasn't died, so it will recover at some point, probably. Since it's all topical frost and not deep root. Alright, on to babies. This is Papa Bear and Mutt. Papa Bear was part of triplets. Unfortunately, his mama got sick, coccidiosis, and she couldn't feed. And while he was supposed to be taken to another farm and bottle fed, he wasn't, and neither were they, and they died. So we have Papa Bear, not Mama Bear or Baby Bear. We had Goldilocks and 3 bears, now we got Goldilocks and the 1 bear. And then Mutt, he's still partly blind. He's kind of experiencing kind of like floppy kid syndrome too. He doesn't tend to get up if he doesn't feel like it. We're hoping that clears up pretty soon. Although people say that his blindness should clear up in 3 weeks. Pretty sure it's pink eye or something. We've been giving him triple antibiotic every day on his eyes. He will get up sometimes when he feels like it. There you go. You're a mighty Mutt. Come on up. Now, why is he called Mutt? Because I guess he just decided he'd just get in a better sleeping position or lounging position. Well, maybe he's trying to get up and he just can't get himself balanced. He does struggle most of the time. I'll feed, and we're bottle feeding them both though, because he just can't find the mama's teat to nurse. The advantage for his brother is his brother gets the milk as his only child. Now with, again, Papa Bear there, he's unfortunately now an only child, from his siblings anyway. We've lost, well, that's the same thing happened to Junior. And Junior was from the same mama, only lost his siblings to trampling and smothering rather than starvation. Now, the newest addition may be hard to see in here. No, there she is. There she is, right there. That's Daisy. There's little Daisy. Ginger, leave Daisy alone. And there's Jumpy Jeff. There's a Jumpy Jeff. Yeah, it's a Jumpy Jeff. And then there's his mama, Caroline. This is Mutt and Jeff's mama. Alright, and this is Goldilocks. And that gold in the boy, Silver, belonged to Ginger, the one that was just harassing Daisy. We're pretty sure that Sam there is pregnant, but if she is, she's still a little ways out. And then hiding back behind her on the ground is Mocha, the mama of Daisy there. Daisy, here's your Daisy, where's your Daisy? Here's your Daisy. I'm like, what? I don't know what you're talking about. Goldilocks, here's the Goldilocks, and the Jumpy Jeff. Here's our babies. Yes. So, these in here are pretty lively, pretty spunky. So that's Jumpy Jeff. So Mutt and Jeff belong to Caroline. Gold and Silver belong to Ginger. Daisy belongs to Mocha. And then Sam may or may not have anything anytime soon. And, of course, no change over here in count. Of course, we got Hans and Franz. Hansel, who's Sister Gretel's and with the little girls. And Junior. He's a Junior. Here's a Junior. How you doing? Yeah, it's a baby. Yeah, it's a Franz. Yes. And Hans. Interesting thing, Hans has got these big cheek sideburns. He's just the hairiest thing. Yes. And then, of course, you got Hansel over there scratching an itch. He's already got curl under on his horns, even though he's supposed to have no horns. He's got skirts. Alright, over here we have Sugar. She, unfortunately, is sick with coccidiosis. So, she's in quarantine. Now, if you ask, why is she in this room right now? Well, it's because we're supposed to have a real deluge tonight. And I don't want her out in it. There's my tomato plant and my celery plant. Hopefully the tomato plant will put on lots and lots and lots of tomatoes over the summer. We'll see. Now our grapevines. Some of them have lots and lots of new grape growth on them. I'm sure I mentioned that last week, but there's more this week. Well, flowers there, flowers there, flowers there, flowers along here. And the thing is this vine isn't super old, but I think it's maturing just a little faster than the average. So, it's going to do pretty good. So, let us go on up through there and look at some other grapevines and other flowers and things. Of course, yes, tomatoes have flowers too. Not to overlook that. Again, pretty much all fruiting plants have some kind of flower, because that's where the fruits form. The mulberries are in flower, both male and female. So maybe we'll have a bunch of mulberries, whatever the birds don't eat. So this thing, although it did get hit by a teeny bit of frost, and you can see a little frost freezer burn on some of these, on the overall, and I picked off some that were damaged enough that they weren't going to produce any fruit whatsoever. But now this one in the past has been prone to rot, so we gotta still keep out an eye for that, because we're coming into a warm, wet, rainy season. Here's Jill, Puffy, Candy walking towards us. Snippy Snap with the brown head on one side of the mulberry tree, and Gretel on the other side, and back behind her is Chestnut. And Mr. O'Malley, if I can get him in the picture here, that glob right there of fur is Mr. O'Malley. Standing around there just kind of scratching itches and looking like a, well, a bored billy goat. Of course, up here, these were really heavy producers last year, and I'm very hopeful that they'll be heavy producers this year. In fact, if they are, they'll probably be much heavier producers because they got way more flowers on them, all over them. They didn't have near this much inflorescence last year. So it's probably got 10, 15 times as much inflorescence this year as last year. So maybe it'll have 10, 15 times as much grapes, fruit. Yes. Grapefruit. Well, it is grapefruit. But anyhow. So, and there's our mountain bog gentian, 4 stems. Again, I have to be very careful to handle it gently since I don't want to hurt it. I'm not going to go down there today, but there are 2 lilacs down there that are coming up, I guess, from seeds. Seedling lilacs I have to transplant out of there so I don't end up a victim of goaticide. Or goats eating them, I mean. And, well, we got a little rain, but they say we're going to be it's a good high chance of a flash flood tonight and tomorrow. They're expecting for a fact over 3 inches of rain, and it's at least one big deluge, and then maybe more. Alright, these Mom never sees till they bloom, and they've been shooting up really super fast this week. They weren't there at all last week. They make, again, a lovely yellow flower when they do, and a long chain of them, so they're really beautiful. The irises are in various stages of completion of blooming. But before we get to them, let's go look at some of these abundant loads and loads and loads of mulberries. Now I just got to figure out how to keep the birds from eating them. And that grapevine, even though it got a little bit of frostbitten, is flowering really heavily. And then over here, of course, the white irises started first, and as I said, they finished first. Just their thing. Now there may be some orange puccoon out over there, but if they have, it's hard to see them. Now, there's a little tiny iris. We'll go around and look at it from up close. It's another hybrid, I believe. Of course, we go through these darker irises here, and then there's both pale white and then pale blue and medium blue. Of course, the daisies are starting along to get up some good strength behind them, and then yeah, not Lesbides as well. No, the vetch still flowering along. Oh boy, I got more Johnson grass to deal with. Fun. So, yeah, there's a little small iris right there. Small bearded iris. There's a couple of them in that little area, so they're propagating a little at a time. This area has never been fertilized over here. In fact, most of this land has never been fertilized. It's just high in certain nutrients. So, like potassium, phosphorus, magnesium, manganese, iron, sulfur, zinc. This is my little quarantine area. which I won't be using tonight because of the flooding hazard. I don't want her in there. If the wind blows that all off, she'll be getting drenched. My apple tree, again, it's set a few. I'd rather set a few that do well than a bunch that do poorly. I don't know how many it'll set or has set, how many it'll keep. I really don't care because the raccoons, groundhogs will probably steal all of them before I can pick them anyhow. Maybe next year, I don't know. I got a way to try to prevent it, but I got to build it first. All right, again over here, more mulberries. And of course, more irises. Irisy. Anyway, lots and lots and lots of little vetch flowers and daisies. This blackberry is about to put on a few flowers fairly soon, a week or 3 at most. It should be in full bloom, and it'll be in bloom for over a month. The flowers on the walnut are going at it to beat the band, so it'll probably be pretty nutty how many how many fruits it'll get. It'll be nutty how much fruit it got. These things are still blooming. They've been blooming for now like 2.5, 3 months. I'm not sure, I haven't kept record. These things have been blooming for about a week and a half, and I'm looking forward to a lot of fruit from them, Yahweh willing. They'll have just loads of fruit on them, hopefully. Of course, the little golden irises going to beat the band. The wild blackberries starting to flower out a little faster than the tame. Rose of Sharon still haven't opened up yet. They will, but not right away. The big golden, well, there's just some wild lettuce flowers. Those little powdery yellow irises. This patch has grown quite a bit. And then these bearded two-tone irises. The Dusty Miller looks pretty good now. You can actually see it standing out from the background. Peach tree, just growing along, being a peach tree. Not making any fruit, but still being a peach tree. Alright. So, the, let me get over here. Wild hyacinths have not only successfully bloomed, they've also successfully fruited. Well, when I say they successfully bloomed, one's still on the bloom. See all them nice little seed pods? Those will propagate all over the place, and they'll make more of them, and I'm very happy for that. Most of the cherry trees have at least some cherries on them, differing amounts, but that doesn't mean they'll all make it to, I forget what this plant's called. Mom hates them, but I love them, so I decided I'm going to kill them off. Of course, the peony, getting along a little bit closer to blooming, should be full open by next week. So, the giant golden, these are a hybrid, and they're pretty near done right there. That's about all they're going to do, because it's about how many plants there are. There's some super deep lilac velvet faced in here. They'll be up and blooming probably in a week or 2, I'm guessing. Never really kept good records on this. Again, light powdery yellow, semi-bearded. By the way, if anybody wonders what I mean by bearded, it's this veinage down here. Those little stripes of darker color is considered bearding. Oh look, there's a couple last little teeny baby's breath on there. Fancy that. Huh. Still don't see any pinto beans sprouting yet. Of course, animals may have eaten them. The roses here, both the thorned and thornless, are putting on new shoots, and they'll be covered in blossoms here in a little while. I don't know exactly how long, but not super long. My, I'll have to get around the other side, I guess, to point it out. Again, yeah, my sassafras seedling, I guess I could have pointed it out from right where it was, is doing pretty good at the moment. I will need to transplant it before it gets too in there too much, because I want to put it in a special position for special cultivation eventually. And so I need to put it there versus let it get entangled with the roots of other plants, because that'll give it transplant shock. This thing is a byproduct of multiple years being sprayed with glyphosate. Didn't kill it, just makes it look terrible. Keeps growing. So, you know, things can develop or have a resistance to it already. Of course, the giant lilies, deer haven't found them yet. They will, probably. Alright. Of course, a couple more of the yellow lilacs over here. Golden. They're not the giant golden, they're the medium golden. Semi-bearded. More blackberry flowers. Over here, we have alfalfa flowers. And of course more vetch. And more vetch. It's good stuff. It's too bad it's so small you can't hardly eat much of it. It's just tiny. Of course, here after a while we'll be seeing little tufts of growth where actual nuts start fruiting out of the flowers on these two. When that happens, then they'll be covered in little sheaths. Of course, little small day lilies here are, they're just, you know, normal till the deer eat them off. Our ever faithful standby, the verbena, still going at it. Tough stands of yellow coneflower are going to stand up 5-6 feet tall in some places. Of course, the golden clover coming up. And a very early purple coneflower, aka echinacea. First one I've seen, saw it a few days ago. It'll be out in full bloom here in a couple days. They don't bloom super fast, but once they're out, they stay for like nearly a month. Oh, wild strawberries. If I haven't trampled them all. And if the animals haven't eaten them all. There was a bunch of them out here yesterday. But I don't see them today. I think probably because I'm standing in the wrong angle, or because something came along and ate a bunch of them. There's one. Or two. I'm going to leave them for the animals. They're too small to worry about. They taste good, but they're just so little, they're frustrating. So I'll let the animals eat them. They're in there, but not very many. This little critter, little yellow flower on a star-like stem vine. I've seen it before, don't remember what it's called. This, I'm not for sure if it's related to either the gentian or butterfly weed. It does make little flowers. This, of course, butterfly weed is about to open up in full bloom, and the milkweed is too. Now, this is dog's bane. Sorry, it's related to milkweed, but it's part of the same family. But anyhow, that's more alfalfa, wild alfalfa, and some daisies. And again, the dog's bane, relative of milkweed. Hardly ever see monarch butterflies on it, caterpillars on it, because they really don't like it like they do milkweed. Even though they're the same family, dog's bane's got different chemicals in it to make it poisonous to dogs and things. These right here, I think they're part of the anise, fennel, cilantro, carrot family. and hemlock. But I don't know their official name. They could be water hemlock versus deadly hemlock. You know, I mean, all hemlock's poisonous. But anyhow, there's my little potato coming up. I need to probably put it in a better position. So anyhow, this thing is flowering finally. After I trimmed it down, I pruned it back and got it detangled from the tree. And of course pruned the tree. Tree's doing better for it. The pruning anyway. The, again, I don't know what this one's called. But just about right on time. It's opening up for about a week or so. It'll be a big white cascade of flowers. And then they'll start falling off too. Of course, there's some more purple cone flowers popping up. They're all over in here. And they're perennial, I've heard. Anyhow, so yeah, nice little cluster of these flowers coming along. The gladiolas are not yet putting up the flower head. Hopefully they will, but they didn't last year or the year before. Weird part is I didn't discover them until I saw the flowers. And now I watch them every year and they don't flower. It's kind of like the old saying, watch pot never boils kind of deal. Huh. I dare say. I think that's horse mint. If it is, it's really early. And it's going to grow really big, I hope. Doesn't smell like horse mint. It's just kind of too faint. Unless horse mint doesn't develop a good savor until it's older. You know, like I say, peppers usually don't get hot until they're ripe. Now, in case you're wondering, no, I did not do anything else on the shop since we left. Just came home. Although later, I do plan on being out here to do some work building a special tangle-proof stake for sugar. And when I do, I'll try to video that best I can. And I went and got hay and came back and I put all the tubs back underneath the truck so that they're out of the rain mostly, so that my potting soil and nutrients stay generally dry. They're hard to use when they're a clump. So that asparagus, only one stem so far this year. Sometimes it puts up 3 or 4, sometimes it puts up 2. I don't know. It makes up its mind when it wants to. Alright, I can see some more casting of cherries, but still quite a few cherries on it. Hard to say how many will make it ripe, or even, because like, where did I just see it? Like right there, a lot of those are going to drop. I do not know. There's some clover right there. White clover. That came from Mountain Home as lawn clippings. Just gradually propagated itself here all over as we sprinkled lawn clippings around. A lot of the spring flowers have pretty much come and gone. We're starting to come into, well, that is a wild lettuce of some kind. Beautiful little spindly stem and one single flower, almost like a dandelion but different. I don't know, maybe it'll become something common. A lot of sedge grasses around here, like nut sedge and stuff like that, because there's more moisture here than there has been in the past. And so where it stays moist continuously, the sedges kick in. Now, this thing's flowered in the past, but it hasn't fruited since I've been here, so I don't know if I'll get anything from it. Here's some volunteer white, pale yellow, semi-bearded irises that have just come from seeds floating downstream from up there. The irises across the road haven't opened up yet. Surprise lilies are still, I guess they're in the shade. I don't know. I guess some of my surprise lilies are still up. Pretty sure all of the daffodil types, or 99% of them, are done for the year. I think they pretty near all had their blossoms and are ready for going into summer dormancy. Again, stray scattering of daisies as they start thickening up. Other flowering bushes are starting to pop up, and a couple years ago this was nothing but brush and weeds. Still got an unhappy amount of greenbrier in it. Of course, my number one favorite super growth purple coneflowers are down here, and my worry is the goats will eat them, and I'll have to shield them very carefully. I don't see any of them right at this instant. Oh, I think that might be one right there. It's a flower. I don't know if it's a coneflower. It doesn't look like it. Maybe they are a different strain. Well, we'll know when they start opening up. They don't really look like coneflowers. They look more like a mint. If they're a mint, then that's fine, but just don't need to get one confused for the other just because they've got a head on them, because it's not really looking systemically like a coneflower. Over here, we still have a tenacious little bit of watercress hanging on. Hasn't really done much. The thing is, the water hasn't flowed enough to really. Watercress likes a lot of flowing water, and this is seeping water, so it's not super great for it. Oh well, we shall see what we shall see over the summer if I can't do anything to improve that situation any. I may dig that pond out just a little. It wasn't even meant to be there originally. It was an accidental byproduct of me trying to rescue the bank of the field, the creek bank. So there's some, I believe those look like trillium. Trillium and Jack in the Pulpit look about the same in leaf. Very similar. Of course, their flowers are distinctly different. More cherries. More unfinished work. This is all going to be grown up before summer's over. I have to finish it off next year or something. The poke is up big enough I can need to be picking it, but I'll have to wait until after we get back from the holy days, so I have time to dedicate uninterrupted to picking it and processing it, because it won't keep otherwise. It'll go bad really super fast. Of course, over there's tiger lilies, and up here there's pretty much just more poke and golden clover and vetch and whatever these white flowers are, whatever those flowers are. See if any crowns have opened up on the elderberries. I guess as far as I'm going to go back, because A, it's supposed to rain real hard pretty soon, and B, I feel tired, have been for a while. That's as close as we got to flowers for the elderberry right now. At the moment, they'll get up like bigger than my hand when they're in full bloom. So yeah, the only thing back up there is poke and one more vine, and I just don't have it in me. I'm feeling exhausted. I'll walk downhill across this area, or well, I've walked uphill across this area, but it's so shallow. But I mean, we're gonna go back up the mountain, the hillside to get back home. So I'm just gonna say, that's all I'm going to record for today. But hopefully I'll feel better and be in better health as time goes by. I got cardiologist appointments. So there's some jack-in-the-pulpits right there. See how pretty them little flowers are? Yeah. Pretty little flowers. Kind of like the, what do you call it, Easter lily? Anyhow. So that, the trillium will have bright red triangular flowers. So once you see them next to each other, you can't mistake the flowers, even if you've mistaken the leaves. Pretty sure they're in the same general family. And they're part of the orchid family. In fact, it's kind of funny that the Easter lily is called a lily when it's not a lily. I mean, or lily of the valley, I mean. Sorry, Easter lilies are like tiger lilies. They are a lily, but they're, let me see, we're standing near them now. If I'm not trampling them. That's the thing, they're still short. They're right about around here somewhere. Anyhow, so I was just talking about them and I just thought about them and I have no idea where they're at. Unless a deer came along and ate them all. Wouldn't surprise me, they were so tiny. Deer will do something like that. They'll eat the stuff you want and leave the stuff you don't. It is what it is. I didn't see them. Okay, well, again, I didn't see them. There'll be more flowers to report on later in the year as the seasons prevail. So, alright. We'll see you next Sabbath. Shalom.